Hello and welcome to Two Nerds on a Couch. I'm Beth. Chapter 3 Season 2 is ending in a few days and has had a ton of story in the game and in the Battle Pass. If you've been playing since early in Chapter 1, you'll know the true significance of the season and its upcoming event. If you aren't an OG or have forgotten the details along the way, don't worry. We are going to quickly recap the main story from the beginning until now. Please be aware that this particular video is basically a bullet points version of everything before Chapter 3 Season 2. Let's begin! Chapter 1 Season 1 Fortnite Battle Royale begins. Chapter 1 Season 2 Fortnite Battle Royale, now with Tilted Towers. Chapter 1 Season 3 Meteors. A giant meteor was in the sky, and several smaller meteors pelted us the last few days of the season. Chapter 1 Season 4 Craters, Rocket, and a Stranger. There was a huge crater in the middle of the map with a meteor that had a pod inside. Turns out it was the Visitor, whose intentions were unknown, but he's part of the Seven. A government faction cleaned up craters around the island, and a secret hatch was found in the woods. The Visitor left on his rocket ship. While leaving, he accidentally created cracks in the sky. Chapter 1 Season 5 Rifts and Kevin. The cracks in the sky were all but fully closed when a very long strike of pink lightning hit the desert and spawned a giant purple cube. That cube, let's call it Kevin, flipped around the map, leaving rune markings in places, and went on to melt into Loot Lake. Chapter 1 Season 6 Floating Island and the Butterfly. Kevin the Cube rose out of the lake, with a little lake island on his back, and floated around the map to visit his rune markings. Floating Kevin returned home, drained some energy into the lake, and broke apart. We had the butterfly event. Snowstorms were spotted in the south. Chapter 1 Season 7 Winter and the Ice King. A giant iceberg expanded the island and brought the Ice King with it. A prisoner was chained up underneath the Ice King's castle. As snow melted, the prisoner escaped. Then there were earthquakes. Chapter 1 Season 8 Volcano and the Mysterious Door. There was a volcano. The government dug around the island and uncovered a mysterious door at the lake. Eventually, we figured out how to open that door and went in. We saw a shiny orb, put it on a drum gun, and the volcano erupted. The volcano eruption destroyed Retail Row and Tilted Towers. And it hit Polar Peak. Chapter 1 Season 9 Mech vs. Monster. We saw a giant eye at Polar Peak. An unknown monster hopped around the island and into the ocean. The government responded by building a mech that was piloted by Singularity to fight off the monster and defend the island. During the fight, the mech's left arm was ripped off. The mech grabbed the glowing orb, or 0 point, in order to gain more power and defeat the monster. At the end of the showdown, the monster was defeated, the 0 point exposed and cracked, and Singularity flew away with the mech into space. Chapter 1 Season X Time Fluctuations and the Scientist. The cracked 0 point was throwing things out of whack. The scientist arrived in his meteor to fix things. He left tapes behind instructing other looped versions of himself. The Paradigm was in the item shop for only 1 day, and then she was gone. The end event happened. Rockets, plus the meteor, flew directly into the 0 point, which caused a black hole. Chapter 2 Season 1 New, yet familiar. The season began and nearly everything was new, but with a little bit of familiarity. The prevailing story was that two factions, Alter and Ego, were exploring this new landscape. Chapter 2 Season 2 Midas and the Doomsday Device. A bunch of new POIs were added, and guarded by various NPC bosses and their henchmen. The huge building in the middle of the map, called the Agency, was controlled by Midas, who was building a doomsday device in secret under the building. At the end of the season, the doomsday device was used to push back the storm. We were accidentally rifted into Jonesy's office, and a huge wall of water washed out the island. Chapter 2, Season 3, The Flood. The island was flooded and partially destroyed. Eventually, water receded, and the island was somewhat back to normal. Before the season ended, we saw Thor's hammer near Salty Springs. Chapter 2, Season 4, Warnings and Galactus. Thor came to warn us about Galactus, and summoned other Marvel heroes to help us. Iron Man set up rift beacons to bring in chunks of the Marvel Universe, and he souped up the battle buses. Galactus arrived and went for the 0 point. We drove him away with our nuclear battle buses and saved reality. Chapter 2, Season 5, Jonesy and the Hunters. Jonesy was sent into the loop to stabilize the 0 point and keep anyone from escaping. His boss told him not to draw the attention of the Seven. Jonesy gathered hunters from different dimensions to help him keep people from escaping the loop. So many hunters were gathered that the 0 point was stressed further and was going to break apart. Chapter 2, Season 6, Spire, the Foundation, and Warnings. Jonesy quit the IO, called the Foundation for help containing the 0 point, and threw his portal device into it and trapped himself in the loop. The Foundation sealed off the 0 point and created a spire. NPCs around the map warned us about impending doom if we let Raz get too powerful. We started getting abducted, seeing crop circles, and warnings in real life that they were coming. Now it's time for a Batman Fortnite 0 point comic book break. Batman saw a rift in Gotham and got kicked into it. He arrived on the Fortnite island, disoriented, unable to speak, and unable to remember anything. He wrote stuff down on his arms and batarang. Batman met Catwoman, and they befriended each other and explored together. Batman escaped the loop. Catwoman did too. Batman and Catwoman met other former loopers, and everyone explored the island. They found hatches and went inside to find IO facilities. The group fought IO guards. The rest of the group figured out the controls to the bridge and 0 point, and the former loopers returned home. Batman and Catwoman eventually returned to Gotham. Meanwhile, in Metropolis, we see Dr. Sloan conspiring with Lex Luthor, Deathstroke, and the Batman Who Laughs. Back to the Fortnite Island. Chapter 2, Season 7, Aliens and Skyfire. Aliens invaded the Fortnite Island, exploded the spire, and sent the Foundation to an unknown ocean. Aliens abduct and study us. They also abducted our POIs. Dr. Sloan has us plant bombs in the next abduction point. During Operation Skyfire, we see an old friend and reboot him. We get sacrificed by Sloan and see tons of purple cubes and a gold cube. And the mothership explodes. Time for another short comic book storyline break. The Batman Foundation Fortnite comic book was released and takes place partway through Chapter 2, Season 8. The Foundation washed up in Gotham City, which was overrun with villains fighting over a rift. The Foundation initially fights Batman, but then talks to and trusts him. The Foundation explained that the Seven are trying to get the 0 point away from Geno and the IO, and destroy the loop forever. The Foundation fights some of the villains alongside Batman, but needs to return to the Fortnite Island. As the Foundation is trying to leave, he accidentally rifts the Batman Who Laughs with him. On the Fortnite Island, the Foundation escapes the loop and goes off to find Jonesy. Again, let's get back to the Fortnite Island. Chapter 2, Season 8, Cubes, Queen, and the finale. Purple cubes are around the map near destroyed mothership chunks, and the gold cube was near Holly Hedges. The purple and gold cubes rolled around the map, made babies, and met in the middle to form a pyramid while we fought off cube monsters. Sloan and the IO survived and made their way to the bunker. South of Pleasant Park was fortified, and we fought against the Cube Queen and the entire Last Reality Armada. The Visitor, the Scientist, and the Foundation arrived to save us and Jonesy. And they flipped the island. Chapter 3, Season 1, The Flip Side. The flip side was familiar and also new. We slid all over the map, and the Scientist sent us on quests. The Imagined Order was drilling to this side of the island, while the Scientist was begging Paradigm to come help, and we started preparing for war. This brings us to the events in Chapter 3, Season 2, War. Check out our next video to recap Chapter 3, Season 2. Thank you so much for watching! If you like these kinds of videos, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to use code TUNERSONACOUCH in the item shop. And we'll see you in the next video!